As you can hear, the first thing you notice about the new Evora 400 is the way it sounds. If the previous Evora S made a cultured, sophisticated V6 snarl, this one could take on a tubey Aventador in a rev battle. It is laugh-out-loud ridiculous for a stock factory exhaust. Fortunately, you can quieten the car with the push of a button and return it to a serene, refined GT car. And there will be times that you and your neighbours will want to do this. But such is the contrasts in noise between the valves being open and shut that it could almost do with a middle setting. Anyway, here's what it sounds like fully silenced. When you're in the mood, it does provide a stirring baritone soundtrack to your driving and makes every gear change an event. It's an addictive howl that transforms the Evora into a much more exotic proposition. These are tailpipe emissions straight out of the top drawer. The other dramatic change for the 400 is the gearbox. The revised linkage is hugely improved. It's much more precise, it's much more mechanical. I don't think the press have made enough of this to date. After what I'd read, I was expecting a small improvement, but it's not, it's a major one. It adds hugely to driving pleasure on the road and stood up well to harder driving on the track. This is development money really well spent. It's a hugely significant car, the Evora 400 for Lotus, because it's the first car to leave the factory gates since Matt Becker left Lotus. Of particular concern to me was talk of changes being made to the ride and in particular the steering, which remains an industry-wide reference for power steering. Frankly, the last things that needed to be changed on the Evora S were the ride and the steering. Thankfully, the 400 is quick to reassure me that the magic is still there up at Hethel. In fact, the 400 proves the previous Evora had ride quality and steering feel to spare. The new car still rides beautifully and has lost none of its peerless ability to carry speed down poorly surfaced roads. Roll is, if anything, even better contained than before. The steering remains laser accurate, delicate and a sensory delight at all speeds. And you'd swear the steering column was revolving through a tub of double cream. Putting all of that together makes for an exquisite and very capable road car. Despite the much improved interior fit and finish, I'm sure the Evora will remain a very exclusive choice for those few who prioritise feel and involvement over outright speed for the money. how does the most powerful Lotus road car to date feel around the UK's fastest circuit? It's very impressive considering the comfort on offer and the all-up weight. In particular, the brakes are absolutely immense. In terms of braking, it's on par with the much lighter Exige in terms of where you can brake, and in fact it's even more stable over Goodwood's tricky cambers and bumps. There's real venom to the way the car pulls after 5,000 RPM, and it turns in really sweetly into an apex, feeling really poised and balanced through the turn. Body roll is incredibly well contained. The brakes were absolutely relentless and tireless despite an entire day of very hard use. It's worth pointing out that something like the even faster Nissan GTR can lap very quickly, but for a limited time. After 10 to 15 minutes you're already feeling the brakes starting to struggle. With this car, it literally kept pounding around all day. Jumping back into the V6 Cup, it felt absolutely tiny inside, very cramped, very noisy, but it also felt absolutely immediate and more intimately connected with the road surface. The car is a lot more responsive, and actually for the first time it exposed some shortcomings in the Evora's power steering. You just can't hope to replicate the level of feel and immediacy you get with an Exige. But you know, this is a cup spec car, and in all fairness to the Evora, it's a hugely more comfortable road car, so I think the trade-off is a fair one. The Evora is more capable on track than it has any right to be, really, but for those wanting to do regular track days, an Exige will still be worth the extra hardship getting there. Again, the new gearbox linkage should be mentioned in the 400 for being able to lap a whole session without any flood for gear changes or any problems whatsoever. It proved robust, precise and accurate, and the pedals were nicely set up for heel and toe. So overall then, the Evora 400 is a fantastic road car. A really exciting, really accomplished road car with incredible dynamic polish and much improved gearbox in particular. It's more than capable of occasional track use, and you will never ever tire of the way it sounds. What I'm less keen on is the reduced redline. I was hoping the new car would have a higher redline, but in fact it's gone down by only 200, but still down to 7,000, which is also its peak power. The new interior really is a step on in terms of fit and finish. Overall build quality feels much improved. However, it does feel more mass-produced, but I think many people will find that reassuring. It's purely subjective, of course, but I think the car will always live in the shadow of the stunning Evora GTE to some extent in terms of styling. But I'm not sure, for me it really is an improvement over the previous car. There are some aspects I really like and others I'm less keen on. I think actually I slightly preferred the higher sills and more supportive seats of the previous car. I know the lower sills and easier access will be popular with most people, unlike the price, which seems to be a bone of contention. All I can do is really urge people to actually try the car and make up their own mind. It really does need to be driven, it really needs to be heard, it needs to be experienced firsthand, and I'm confident you will be left, like me, wondering just how the hell Lotus manages to make a car of this quality with the resources available.